everybody, my name is What's Going On, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. We're going to go on ahead and continue building our X-Men team from Jim Lee, or based on the Jim Lee art. And today we're going to go on ahead and actually build two characters, because a lot of you guys were asking for me to build Iceman. And I thought about it, I was like, it's literally going to be like a 30-second video, because it's really not going to take very much time at all to put together that character. But then one character that I had forgotten about, that many of you guys were pointing out on the X-Men side of things, was actually Archangel. So we're going to go on ahead and build him here today as well, which of course only leaves Rogue and Psylocke as the two other characters that we need to do as customs in order to complete the entire team, which will be pretty cool. Now, of course, don't forget, guys, if you do enjoy today's video, hit that like button. It helps out with the YouTube algorithm. It lets the YouTube algorithm know that you guys are enjoying the videos and that others might enjoy them as well. So thank you guys so very much for helping out with that. And in addition to that, of course, if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing, turn on your notifications, and thank you guys so very much for tuning in. Let me know in the comment section below which design you would like to see next, Psylocke or Rogue, and then we'll get to those eventually. All right, so with that in mind, please disregard this design of Han Solo, because it looks kind of terrible, not gonna lie. Hindsight being 2020, this one looks kind of awful. All right, so let's start with Iceman, just because I want to prove to people how easy this character is going to be to build. So you can probably set a timer to a certain extent with how fast this will be. So we're just gonna set certain kind of must-haves for abilities here. I think this will probably take the longest with Iceman, is to actually design the abilities. So we need to see what it actually looks like. So let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, so I think that looks pretty cool. And then the other thing I do want to do is actually have the hold beam. So we'll do that. We'll do the beam style. We need to find something that looks kind of like ice, right? Being created. So that's interesting, because that actually definitely looks like it's got like little snowflakes next to it in terms of design. Now it's just a matter of picking the right color here. I think that looks pretty cool. And then the beam origin, we're just going to do both hands like that. Okay, sweet. So we got that figured out. Wonderful. The other element that we need to do is, I think you can do a glide where the character... Nope. I mean, I guess that could kind of work. Unfortunately, there isn't a way to do like the glide where he's creating snow below his feet. That would have been a really cool effect if there was some way to do that. That would have been really, really neat to see. All right, wonderful. So we got that done. Now we need to get rid of some of the elements that we had for our previous design here. And now let's get to building the actual character. So first and foremost, for the face, we're just going to go... Is there a way to recolor the eyebrows here? I hope so. So you can go a couple of different routes here. You can go with like the plain white design. I don't think that'll look all that well. I think that the kind of lightish blue hue will look the best. So that's what we're going to try. And we're going to see how it looks once we've obviously completed the design. I think we'll go with the dark blue. Or maybe light blue. Yeah, I think light blue for the eyebrows works. Because I feel like when they were brown, it was like really standing out a lot. So let's go on ahead and get rid... Whoops. Okay, I guess I'm going too quickly trying to prove how fast and easy it is to build this design. Okay, so we've got that figured out. Now we just need to adjust the arms. So that's going to be this color. The hands, which again is going to just be adjusted furthermore. Then for the legs, same type of process. I guess I was going to say same type of process, but if you want, I guess you could incorporate a little bit of like texturing into the costume via maybe even something like this. So you could kind of add a little bit to the design if you want to. Maybe even something like this to kind of create the illusion of like the ice building up and such, instead of just being a smooth terrain. So you can go that route if you choose to do so. Let's see, for hips, this is where it's probably going to be tricky, because I actually don't know if it lets you recolor the hips to that color. Okay, luckily it does, so that's wonderful. And then for the torso, we're actually going to go with just the regular body. So we'll just go with something like this. Recolor that light blue, and then make the highlights probably the same color that we did for the eyebrows. Yeah, I think that the legs need to be changed up, because unfortunately the design makes it look a little strange. Like, it just looks like he's got like spikes on his legs, which is not what we're going for. So I think we're just going to go with the plain look instead. I mean, that right there is a pretty darn good take, except I'm realizing that I think I made the face a completely different shade and a completely different color. Yeah. But I think that works a tad bit better. There we go. I think that the overall design hopefully will look good once we take a look at the character. Okay, sweet. So that's Iceman completed. Let's get to the next character of the day, which will be Archangel. And we're going to take a look at both of the characters in a little while here. This is Cal Kestis, by the way, who we've built from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That was a really fun build, actually. And I think we knocked that out of the park. I'm actually very, very happy with the way that this design turned out. And those are indeed supposed to be lightsabers. It was just very difficult to design a lightsaber in this game. Okay, so let's get to building Archangel here. So we just need to Archangel. So obviously the key thing with Archangel is going to be to give him the giant wings. That's kind of a must-have element here. And then some of the easier stuff. So I don't think he wears any gloves. Okay, what color do we go for with the skin tone? Let me actually quickly take a look at a picture of Archangel so I could make sure that we try to... And again, it has to be Jim Lee Archangel. So we need to be very, very accurate here. Okay, so it's kind of light blue-ish, sort of. So maybe that works. Because I think that's a bit more, like, it's almost like that blue would work better for the actual costume, if that makes sense, right? Man, oh man. Yeah. I mean, I guess, okay, let's try this blue. We'll see how it goes. If we need to adjust, we can always adjust as we go along. Okay, so the most important and most crucial part with this character is going to be the wings. Now, the problem here is that he's supposed to have these giant, giant wings, and the issue is that none of these designs are going to be... Wait, what? You can't even recolor those? Can you recolor these? What's recoloring? I don't understand. So it's... Is there something changing colors? I don't understand. There's nothing changing colors on this. Okay, well that stinks. Oh, yoy. Okay, so we could go with something like this, for example, and his wings are always like silver. So we could go with that, but those look tiny. Like those wings does not give you that giant wingspan that he's known for. So I think we're going to have to go with these ones, because I think they're going to be the closest to the design. And usually his wings are sort of silver, so I think that that should work, hopefully, well. Okay, so let's get to the design, or the rest of the design. Okay, so let me think. I don't even know where we can carry on. I guess let's carry on to this point. So we need pink and blue as kind of the main colors. I can't really think of any characters that have pink on their costumes within the game. So let's scroll through and see what we're actually working with. Maybe there's some designs that could work. So that's definitely not pink. It's obviously blue, but it could, or sorry, it's obviously red, but it could potentially work since red is somewhat similar to pink. At least it's in the right territory of colors. So that could work. And then I'm also remembering, because I think he's got pink gauntlets as well. If we could incorporate that somehow, that would be kind of cool too. So that would be inaccurate. I also think you could kind of go two routes here. You could go with the light blue, or you could go with the dark blue. It depends on your personal preference here for the design. So you could kind of go two different routes here. Okay, let me think here for a second, because I'm trying to... Maybe this? No, that's way too much red. That just makes it like look way too busy. What about this, the Miss Martian? Okay, so that gives you the red on the arms, which kind of works. It's not great, don't get me wrong. But it's somewhat decent looking. Man, oh man. I really wish there was something that had any pink on it. That would have been kind of nice to see, so we could actually get at least somewhat in the ballpark of being correct with this design. Because right now we're quite a bit off as far as the overall look is concerned. So what about this? So that gives you the red, but it actually kind of works. You know what? Let's try that. So we might have to do a substitute from pink to red. We'll see. If that's the case, obviously, we will adjust accordingly. Now, the next thing that I would probably like to design here is actually going to be the head sculpt. So the head sculpt is going to be tough here because the problem with it is that he's got yellow eyes from what I remember, and he still has the mask. So usually, like, if you have a character with the mask, they usually don't have any type of like extra details. So let's scroll through and see what we're working with. So for example, something like this could potentially work since this character does have the yellowish sort of eyes. So it can potentially work. The problem here is that he's not wearing the mask that he's supposed to be wearing. What changes color on this? Okay, that's not going to work. So this is sort of the right mask. Like, very much so. The problem is that the skin tone is incorrect and the eye color is incorrect also. Oh, man, oh, man. That is tough. That is very, 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 very tough because I honestly don't know if we're going to be able to find something where it's going to be able to check off all the boxes that you need for this design. But let's scroll through here slowly but surely and see what else is possibly available. And maybe based on that, we'll be able to adjust. I wonder, do all of these masks, like, is it always the mask that changes color? It seems like it. Man, oh man. Oh, I think I just saw... No, that's blue eyes. Okay. I thought maybe the eyes were yellow on that one, so we could have potentially tried to use that. What about this? So that's an interesting take as well, because you get the yellow eyes, you get the blue mask, but the skin tone is incorrect. But it's not far off. Like, this design actually does look really, really kind of cool. So I think that that's an interesting take for sure. So let's keep scrolling here. See what else is available. And then obviously based on that, we will make our final decisions here. Okay. So, yeah, I think we're going to have to go with one of the designs. So we have to kind of decide. Like, we can go with one where the skin tone will be correct, so sort of like this, but then the rest of the costume is completely off. Or, like I said before, we could go for something where the skin tone might be a little bit off. Or the design, sorry, might be a little bit off, but you get kind of the correct variables outside of that. That actually looks pretty cool, too. The Mr. Miracle design. And I think the Metallo design looks really cool, too. But the Metallo design does make him look a little bit more robotic, surprisingly so, than Mr. Miracle. I'm going to try the Mr. Miracle design. Let's see how this looks once we're done, right? Because I think that's when we'll be able to actually judge the overall look of the character here. So, let's take a look at the legs here. What changes color on this? Okay, so what if we did this, and then we made the highlights pink? So that looks really, really accurate, actually, and that works super duper well. The problem with it is that now the shoulders have to not be red, because it's almost like because of the shoulders being red, we kind of have to adjust this design to be red as well, which sucks because it's not accurate. So let's try to, if we can, adjust the arms, I guess, and hopefully we can make the arms. I also just realized that I didn't recolor the arms the correct color as it is, right? So I just don't think we're going to find any pink on the arms. So because of that, why don't we just go with just the plain blue? Because I think that that will probably give us a better result. Although, I am curious to see what would happen if we did this, let's say. Is that too much pink? We'll see. Let's try it. We'll see how it looks once we've finished the rest of the design. Okay, so presets for the torso. Let's get rocking and rolling here. So ideally, we want something where the vast majority of the design is indeed going to be dark blue, and then some elements on the costume have to be pink. That's going to be easier said than done, clearly. Man, oh man. Okay, so there is a little bit of pink on this costume. So you can kind of use that. It looks terrible. Obviously, you can't use this. That would be very, very, very incorrect as far as the design of the costume is concerned. So let's keep scrolling and see if we can stumble across anything else where there's some highlights or details on the actual costume with pink. And if there aren't, then we're obviously going to need to scrap that idea and try to just get it as close to the design as possible. I wonder what this looks like recolored. Okay, so it's not pink, but you do get a purple design here, which is interesting because if we could match up that purple on the rest of the costume, we could go with the blue and purple design, which would sort of work. So I would say that the Lex Luthor design, out of the ones we see here, is probably the best so far. I'm also realizing we could actually flip it on its head and go with the pink, but then have a blue highlight. So that's another consideration, is that I need to keep an open mind about the idea that we could actually flip the colors and then get kind of a similar effect to what we're looking for. So that's an interesting concept here. Okay, let's keep scrolling. So let's say if something like this, for example, we recolor that pink. Nope, doesn't look great, unfortunately. What about that? Nope. Way too much pink on that costume. Let's keep going here. So I'm really just looking out for blue and pink as kind of the main colors. And if I see those in the costume, I think, okay, well, what if we recolor some element outside of that, you know? So that's sort of the current plan. Yeah, that's not work, unfortunately. Nope, nope, nope. I mean, you can't go with the business suit look. That's completely inaccurate. Okay, so actually, let me just quickly take a look. What does this look like recolored? Looks kind of cool, but not ultra accurate. Oh, I also need to adjust the hips. That's the other thing, because like something, we forgot something. So there we go. So that'll be an adjustment. So right now, actually, what if we did this? I also just got an idea. What if we did this? We made this blue, then we made this pink, and then we tried to somehow like give him a logo or something that would be pink as well. Sort of like that. You know what I mean? And that way we capture quite a bit of the design that we're supposed to try to capture. So that kind of works. It's not great, but it certainly is a decent look, at least somewhat. In fact, I think that looks even better, to be honest. That looks like a pretty good take on the character. I do want to just adjust one thing, and that's to take a look at the presets. I want to one more time take a look. Maybe this looks better. It kind of does, actually. Surprisingly so. What was the other design that I had in mind to try to use for this? There was another mask design. Wasn't there? What about Blue Beetle, actually? No. It's not gonna work. I guess the other one was an unmasked look. Something like this. Which sort of works, honestly. It's not a terrible take on the character. But yeah. I don't know. I think that out of the ones, I think this actually works the best. Like out of the overall looks. But I think you guys would prefer to have the one that actually has like wearing a mask and all that. So because of that, I think we'll go with this design instead, because I think that's probably the closest that we're gonna get to Archangel. So the one other thing that we must adjust on this character, of course, is flight, because after all, he is Archangel. That's kind of his mutant power, is to fly, right? So what we need to do is just go to abilities real quick, go to the X ability, go to the double tap, and then select flight. And there we go. Okay, so let's take a look at both of the characters that we did go on ahead and design here today. So we got 2 new X-Men characters added to the squad, which is super duper awesome. So we've got Iceman, who was an incredibly quick build. And I apologize that today's video is a little bit longer, but we did build 2 characters, so that's why. Don't forget, guys, if you enjoyed the design, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Turn on your notifications. Thank you guys so very much for that. And in addition to that, of course, you can leave a suggestion for what custom you'd like to see next, whether it is Psylocke or Rogue. So those are going to be the last 2 ladies from the X-Men that we need to assemble. So here's Iceman, by the way. I guess you could have also added effect parts to the hands if you wanted to like get a better illusion of the snow effects working. So that's kind of neat. And you've got his kind of like ice bubble shield, as well as the gliding ability. So that's kind of cool. And then, in addition to that, of course, we did go on ahead and put together Archangel, who actually, surprisingly so, even with the difficulties in the costume, was very, very cool to put together and turned out quite neat, if I must say so myself. So, down in the comment section below, let me know what you guys thought of today's designs. Did you guys like the Iceman and the Archangel design? Also, maybe you preferred one over the other. So let me know which one you think turned out cooler and why. And in addition to that, of course, guys, I do hope to catch you guys here next time. As I mentioned before, hit the like button. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. See you later.